Yeah. Oh, you can see right clearly.
These are muscle cars. More specifically, these are Mopar muscle cars. The word Mopar is simply a combination of the words motor and parts, and the term has come to represent cars built by Chrysler, Dodge, Plymouth, as well as a few others. The cars in this video are mostly from the 1960s and 70s. Back then, cars were built to be strong, they were built to stand out, and they were built to be fast. In other words, they were built with muscle. Midwest Mopars in the Park car show, the one I'm at in this video, is one of the biggest Mopar muscle car shows on the planet. And I've already made a few episodes from this show, and I'm just now finally getting around to editing the final footage I took from that day. If you haven't seen my other episodes, you might want to check those out. I'll put them in the cards and link them at the end of this video. But for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy a tour through one of America's biggest muscle car shows. Some of these cars are one of a kind. Thanks for watching this episode of Matt's Rad Show. This is a 1961 Plymouth Belvedere. It has a 496 cubic inch big block, and it has two 64mm turbos, each with a vintage long ram intake manifold, with the final product producing 700 plus horsepower and 900 foot-pounds of torque. When you look this good, there's no need for door handles or a hood. It has a Viper snakeskin green paint job with PT Cruiser yellow on the top that has a flake and pearl midcoat. This car used to be a $300 junkyard car, and now it's a one-of-a-kind Mopar masterpiece. 1967 Barracuda Hemi 4-speed. This car is one of none built. It was purchased for $200 with no motor and no tranny, and the owner had to sit on it for 10 years while he gathered all the parts needed to rebuild it. And eventually he put a 440 cubic inch 6-barrel Hemi in it, producing 560 horsepower and 520 pounds of torque. It has a 1969 Plymouth Rally Green paint job that fits it perfectly. A 1967 Barracuda Hemi 4-speed. One of none built. Love it. From 1964 to 1970, Dodge made the A100 series of vans. This one obviously being the pickup version. Most came with a slant 6 engine and produced between 101 and 145 horsepower, though some had an LA V8 engine in them that produced closer to 200 horsepower. But unlike their VW bus competitors, the motor wasn't in the back, and unlike most cars, it wasn't in the front. It was in the middle, above the front axle and in between the driver and passenger. And of course, the driver sat above the front axle too, making these vans a COE vehicle, cab over engine. They are truly unique, and I believe this one is a 67 or a 68. Feel free to leave a comment below if you know for sure what year this one is. If you've ever had a chance to own one of these cars for yourself, you're one of the lucky ones. And until you get behind the wheel of this kind of power, when the engine shakes you from the inside out, you may not understand. When I was growing up, my dad had a 1958 Corvette, and for the most part it sat in the garage. But from time to time I would sneak into the garage, get in the Corvette, and dream about one day driving it for myself. But my parents got divorced. My dad moved away, and the car ended up being sold, and I never got a chance to drive it. So in a way, as I look at all these cars, it brings me back to a time when I wondered what it'd be like. I still wonder at the beauty of a piece of metal fabricated and put together in such a way that it can shake the ground you're walking on and make you feel like you're in the presence of thunder. So here's to a time when the only thing the builders needed to create these cars was a sense of wonder. A wonder to see how fast they can make them go, how strong they could build them, and how much horsepower they could fit under the hood. And here's to the people that wondered what it would be like to drive one for themselves and made it happen. Sometimes I still sit and think. I go back into my parents' old garage, and I get in my dad's old Corvette. And there, behind the wheel, I'm back. And once again, I start to wonder.